If you had to go in the past and tell your previous self some advice, I'm curious, what would you go back? Let's just say 10, maybe 15 years in the past. What would you go back and tell yourself? And you can just leave a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Now, in today's video, I'm going to explain if I had to go back 15 years ago and tell myself some advice, here are 15 keynotes that I would go back and tell myself. That if you're somebody that is just starting on your health and fitness journey, or somebody that is advanced, this is something you definitely want to listen to. So let me just say this. I am currently 32 years old right now as I'm recording this video. And 15 years ago is when I first got started off in training with mixed martial arts. So jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, etc. And I wanted to fight. And in Ohio, you have to be over the age of 18 to legally fight. So it's like, okay, cool. I had to go through this journey, of learning how to fight, learning how to train, but also learning how to lose weight and getting in shape. Because at the time, my coach was like, hey, dude, you're way too big. Like, you got to lose some weight. I don't want you fighting at this weight class. I want you fighting at this weight class. So I had to go through so many ups and downs, so many different just trial and errors. And you're going to learn all about that journey, okay? I've tried every diet that you can think of, every different workout routine that you can think of. And that's why, once again, these 15 things I'm going to share with you is going to be super helpful, whether you're just starting once again on your health and fitness journey or whether you're a little bit more advanced. Okay, I'm somebody that grew up playing sports, but putting that aside, I also grew up with asthma. So sports wasn't necessarily like the funnest thing for me. And I had to learn the hard way, and I don't want you to learn the hard way. So with that being said, if I had to go back 15 years ago to when I was 17 years old, let's talk about some advice. So number one is learn how to play the long game, okay? Don't play the short game. And I think so many times we're always looking to just cut corners, especially on our health and fitness journey. We'll cut out carbs, we'll not eat anything, right? And it's just like, we'll make these sacrifices, if you want to call it that. But then it's just like, hey, we cut out the carbs, we lose a whole bunch of weight. And then as soon as we start eating those carbs again, the weight just creeps right back up. So it's like, once again, learn how to play the long game. I know so many people that they'll get in shape for an event or get in shape for summer, and then they don't have the right consistency habits to maintain those results, and they'll literally just go back to their old ways. And year after year, it's this yo-yo effect of gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. So once again, learn how to play the long game. And especially, if you think about it, the older you get, right, when you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it's like, hey, that's when you need to really focus on your health and fitness journey the most. So you're not the guy, right, or girl that is wearing the adult diapers, right, having people take care of you. No, it's like, hey, you can learn how to be an asset because you're learning how to take care of yourself. Number two, carbs are not the enemy. Overeating on calories is. Especially now, everybody has such a bad relationship when it comes to carbs. And I did also. Like growing up into an Italian household with a finish everything on your plate mentality and the good foods versus bad foods, I believe that carbs are bad, right? So it's just like understanding, and it really helped me when I got certified in nutrition, of just the flexibility of a game of numbers. And as long as you're staying within a calorie deficit, eating plenty of protein, you can literally have as much or as little carbs as you want. It really doesn't matter. But it also makes it a lot of fun, because when you adapt that knowledge of learning how to stay within that calorie deficit and hit your protein goal, then you can apply what we like to say, the 80-20 principle. And this is when you're learning how to fit in your favorite foods and making it very sustainable. And if you guys want any tips on that, I have a completely free fat loss training guide in the first link in the description box down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Now, number three, protein is the most important macronutrient, but with that being said, don't be obsessed with it. I know so many people that's like, oh, I finished the workout, I gotta slam a protein shake, or it's like, I gotta eat all this protein. We think by the day, and that's not good, right? Like, we need to learn how to focus on just weekly averages. There's plenty of times where if I'm traveling, hey, I'm not getting my protein in, and that's okay. I'm not letting it sabotage my results. I'm also not letting it shoot myself in the foot, because mentally I'm freaking out. If I'm like, oh, I'm not going to, lose body fat, I'm not going to build muscle because I'm not hitting my protein. It's once again just understanding flexibility to all of this, okay? Number four, recovery is the secret success. And I think it's important to just understand this, right? If you're one of my coaching clients, you've heard me say this plenty of times. You could be dialed in with your workouts, dialed in with your nutrition, but once again, if you're not recovering properly, meaning like sleep, stress, hydration, you're not going to be getting the results that you're looking for. Like recovery really is the secret sauce when it comes to looking good and feeling your best. Okay. Number 5, it is perfectly fine to have donuts, pizza, burgers, candy, cake. Life is way too short to skip dessert. Let me repeat that one more time. Life is way too short to skip dessert. So at the end of the day, guys, it's all about balance. As I mentioned earlier, applying the 80-20 rule. As long as you're staying within a calorie deficit, eating plenty of protein, you'll be perfectly fine. Trust me, okay? Number 6, the best form of cardio is the one that you can stick with long term and actually enjoy doing. So for me, like I'm not an avid runner. I have bad knees, bad back, bad ankles, and running is just not really the funnest thing for me. So I don't do it as often. I'll go for a few runs here and there, but I prefer walking and I prefer jump roping. So it's like you want to, and also I prefer boxing, right? I consider that cardio, hitting a heavy bag. So it's like you want to learn how to stick with, once again, a form of cardio that is sustainable for you, something that you can just do, but it's also enjoyable, okay? Number 7, the only bad workout is the one that you skipped. So showing up is literally 90% of the battle. You know, as long as you show up to the gym, right? That's where you work out at. As long as you show up, I promise you, like your body's going to start moving, whether you're on the treadmill, whether you're doing some bicep curls, something, right? And that's better than nothing. Now, if you work out at home, hey, get into the area where you work out at. So maybe that is like your basement or maybe your garage. Just once again, show up and do something. Just get like, hey, just 5 push-ups. 10 push-ups. That's it. So make it so small. I promise you that if you just get the momentum, right, going in that direction, it's like a train. It's always going to start off slow. But as soon as you start building up more speed, guess what? Like you're off to the races. And you'll probably finish that workout feeling 10 times better. But if you skip out on that workout, it becomes a lot easier to also neglect your nutrition for the day and create bad habits. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, number 8, okay? There is no such thing as the perfect workout routine and no such thing as the perfect diet, right? So in other words, there's no such thing as a perfect plan. And this is why, once again, I think it's so important to be a sponge and just gain knowledge of knowing when and how to make adjustments for your body type and also your schedule and lifestyle. Because once again, there is no perfect routine, like there is no perfect diet. But when you gain the knowledge of knowing how to do things properly, it makes it a lot easier, right, to continue on that success long term. Number 9, there is a big difference between losing weight and losing body fat. And I talk about this often. You know, I help our coaching clients lose body fat. That is my main job, my main mission, okay? Anybody can cut out the carbohydrates and see the number on the scale drop because you lose water weight. Anybody cannot eat anything for a few days, and sure enough, you'll see the number on the scale drop because you're losing some muscle, okay? Like, learning how to lose body fat, I'm telling you, that's what you need to focus on, right? That is where overall health really starts to make your life a lot better. And think about it like this, right? Between losing weight and losing body fat, there could be 2 guys, right? Person A, they're 200 pounds, 30% body fat, right? They got the man boobs, they got the beer belly, they also have high blood pressure. Person B, they weigh exactly the same, 200 pounds, but they're at 15% body fat. So they have a chiseled chest, 6-pack abs, and guess what? No high blood pressure. So it's like, once again, losing weight and losing body fat are 2 separate things. Number 10, 80 to 90% of the results all boils down to nutrition. You know, like out of all my certifications, the training, the nutrition, the strength and conditioning, I love the nutrition aspect the most because it made my life so much easier. And this is what I coach and teach our members at Heartletics is, hey, focus on nutrition. Like if you miss a workout, who cares, right? The workouts are honestly just the icing on the cake anyways. Like your main job is to learn how to fuel your body properly. And when you have the right mindset, right, that, hey, your body's like a race car. If you're not fueling it properly, just riding around on fumes, your car is going to be broken down the side of the road in no time. So when you actually learn the recovery aspect, you actually learn how to eat properly, it becomes a lot more fun because you don't have that good food versus bad food mentality. You don't have an unhealthy relationship with food. You have that, hey, food equals fuel. Let me eat so that way I can actually lose more body fat in the process. And once again, 80 to 90% of the results that you're ever going to have is because of the nutrition. So you got to get that dialed in. Okay. Number 11, your mindset is the most powerful tool that you can ever train. And, I'm a big believer in, what Henry Ford said, which was whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So it's like, hey, focus on what you can. And so many people, they've tried all these different diets and training programs and workout routines in the past where they feel like because they failed at that, because it wasn't sustainable or they didn't get the best results, they feel like they're doomed. It's like a self-limiting belief that just kind of holds them back from ever having success. And that's why I'm a firm believer of like, hey, having a coach, having people in your corner to hold you accountable, but having the right team, having the right community to support you and almost be that environment to help you along that journey. That way you're not doing it by yourself. Les Brown said it best. It's like, birds of a feather flock together. In life, you hang around with losers, you become a loser. In life, you hang around with winners, you become a winner. So it's like when you start hanging around with people that are, focusing on their mindset, focusing on their physical health, right? Focus on creating better habits for their lifestyle, like you're going to become like that person, right? And odds are you're going to get the results like how they got, okay? Now, let's get to number 12 here, right? Being fit has actually very little to do with you and more about helping others on their journey. So once again, if I had to go back and tell myself the list of these things I'm reading off to you right now, this one is probably one of the most important ones. Because at that time, I was so focused on like just losing the body fat, getting in shape, trying to weigh a certain amount for, being able to fight at 18 years old, and just looking good, right? But now it's like, hey, I want to look good with my shirt off so I can inspire some other guys, right, to do the same. I want to focus on, once again, creating sustainable habits for myself. So as I progress, right, 30, 40, 50 years, right, in the future, when I'm 60, 70, 80, it's like, once again, I don't want to be the guy wearing Depends, right, having the diaper. It's like, I want to be the guy that is not pushing the stroller, pushing the little cart, whatever. It's like, hey, I want to be the guy that's walking, right, and I don't need assistance. I want to be the guy that's still in the 70s, 80s, going to the gym. Like, sure, I'm not lifting heavy weights, but who cares? I'm there. I'm showing up. It's like, it's once again, it's all about inspiring other people on the journey. It has very little to do with you. Gandhi once said, be the change that you want to see in the world. And I'm a big believer in that. Okay. Number 13 is always be a student and continue to learn more about fitness and nutrition. I mean, that's one of the greatest things that I like personally about my own journey, not just in personal development, but also just like in my career, in my industry of fitness, where it's like, how can I constantly learn? Because the minute you think you know it all, like once again, that's just your ego, that's your pride. It's like you can constantly learn more and more and more. And when you're able to learn more, you're more of an asset. You're able to help out more people on their journey once again. And that's what it boils down to with being physically fit. It's once again, being that inspiration and helping others. Now, the last two here. Number 14, having a strong why is way more important than having goals, okay? I want you to think about it like this. When you have a strong why, that is like the roots that's underneath the soil that you can't see. Let's just say there's a big tree, right? And the branches at the very top of the tree, that's your goals. And the roots, the trunk, right, of the base, that is like your workouts, your nutrition, the mindset, right? Your habits, right? That's what that is. But underneath the soil, that's the roots. And that's the strong why. And if let's just say you have this big tree, big goals, right? But there's no roots underneath. Well, think about what happens if a big storm comes by or a big wind or a snowstorm, whatever the case may be. It's very easy for that tree to fall over because it doesn't have roots underneath the soil. It's the same thing with you on your health and fitness journey. You got to have that strong why. It's the roots. That's what's going to help you stay more disciplined. That's what's going to help you get out of bed on a cold, snowy morning and brush the snow off your car and get to the gym, right? Like having a strong why, that's what matters so much. And that leaves us to the last tip here, right? Number 15 is discipline beats motivation every single time. Once again, motivation, it's a feeling, it's an emotion, right? You can go on YouTube and watch a workout fitness video and feel like, motivated instantly and want to go to the gym and crush your leg day and hit all these PRs. But discipline, that's what matters the most. And when you have discipline, that's what's going to yield to more consistency. And at the end of the day, consistency is the key, okay? It's all about showing up, all about putting one foot in front of the other, focusing right in the right mindset, which is 1% better each and every day. And once you're able to do that, I promise you, your health and fitness journey is going to be so much easier. And once again, if you guys want any more helpful tips, I have a completely free training guide down below in the description box that you can go ahead and check out. And I really hope that you guys just gain some inspiration, gain some value from today's video. And I would love to know your feedback. What would you go back and tell yourself, maybe 10, 15 years in the past? What would be some key advice that you would just go tell them? And you can leave a comment down below letting me know that. And if you did happen to like today's video, definitely give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Guys, this has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.